Hi there, dance studio owners, and welcome to a very special midweek edition of the Transform My Dance Studio podcast. In today's exclusive training clip, Clint will be sharing with you his secret sauce to enrolling record numbers of students into your classes all year round with his no gaps enrollment process. While you enjoy this podcast, make sure to download our free 11-step enrollment checklist to plug into your own studio right away. Grab your free copy at dsoa.com/checklist-2020. That's dsoa.com/checklist-2020. Now, on to today's special episode.
So, the enrollment process. Let's look at automation as we go through this. I'm going to give you some little tips as we go through. I'm going to make sure that everyone is accounted for in your enrollment process. So no one is going to slip through the cracks anymore. You are going to be following up. Anyone heartbeat racer when you're like, I've got to call them? I've got to talk to them? You're going to make me a car salesman? No, I'm definitely not. The great thing about the enrollment process is we get to lower your marketing spend. You're like, well, Clint, how does that work? Well, if you're capturing everyone that's asking you and inquiring with you, you can spend less on marketing. The issue is that if you are marketing and you're not capturing these leads and following up with them, you're going to be losing more money. So you can do the best Facebook ads in the world, guys, but if you don't have this process in place, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. So let's get rid of that. We're going to fill up your classroom. Anyone want to fill up their classroom a little bit more? A couple more people? So why do you want this process? Why do you want this process in place? Turn to the person next to you, please. You're like, oh, what? Interaction? Oh, yeah. First part of interaction. If you don't know them, say hello. And just have a 30-second conversation. Why do you want a no gaps enrollment process in your studio? Why is it important for you? Ready? Go. Okay. I forgot I was in a room of studio owners who love to talk. I love that. So can we all agree that this is an important piece of the puzzle? Can we agree that we need an enrollment process? Yes, we need this in place. So let's have a look. Now, if you're like, Clint, I've gone through this 11-step enrollment process 100 times. Inner Circle members, it's probably you. But we know that every time that you hear this, you're like, oh, I don't do that. Or, oh, that's an interesting difference that I haven't heard before. So listen up. If you have a version of this, listen up. Because sometimes I say stuff, I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth. And you're like, oh, and I'm like, oh, that was good. And I'm like, I wish I could write it down. I try and remember till the break. So who knows, but let's start. So step number 1 of the enrollment process is take the inquiry and book in the trial class. Let me talk a bit about this. Take the inquiry. Now, guys, the inquiry comes to you in many different ways. Do you agree? Sometimes it's like, oh my, like, please, like, there's like everyone can get me every angle possible, right? Facebook. Oh, personal Facebook profile. Don't we love that? Hey, just a quick question. No, it's not a quick question. And no, I'm not answering you. I'm going to pretend I haven't seen it. Unread. Instagram DM. That's a big one now. It's getting bigger. I don't know if you guys have noticed. It's definitely getting bigger. I resisted it. I was like, no, I'm not going to talk to you on Instagram. Now I'm like, now we have to talk to people on Instagram because that's where the customer is. You have to meet your customer where they are. And if that's Facebook Messenger, your page, your profile, your Instagram, phone calls, emails, telegrams. No, we don't do telegrams anymore. Faxes. Hopefully no one is doing the fax thing anymore. But they can contact us in a lot of different ways. Text message, right? For a lot of studio owners, text message is working really well. You link it up with some software like Front App or Intercom. I'll talk more about those on day 3. We can link these things up now so that we can get all of our communication into one place, right? Really important. But you have to remember that these things are going on, that people are contacting you through all of these channels, and you need to get back to them. What do you think is a good time? How much time should pass for you to get back to an inquiry? Let's say an email. If someone sends you an email inquiring about classes, what is the average amount of time it's taking you to get back to someone? 24 hours. Who thinks 24 hours? Hands up. Who thinks 48 hours? No, you'd be out of business. Oh, I didn't see you. It's okay. We'll forget that hand. You can stay. Who thinks 12 hours? Hands up. Who thinks 6? 6 hours. Who thinks less than 6 hours? Yeah. Yeah, guys, unfortunately, we're now in a world where everyone expects us to just be waiting for them. I'm just sitting at my computer waiting for you to send me an email. Yeah? And that's kind of what consumers want. Firstly, you need to put in the expectation. I think for us it says 24 hours. Our goal is, Mel is 6? Yeah, is 6. I love that. Our goal is 6 hours to get back to someone, and we report on that every Monday team meeting. We know, okay, our average this week was 7. Why is it up? That's a question we ask. You need to get back to people quickly, so make sure someone is monitoring all of those channels, right? Have a conversation with them. You want to book in a trial class. You are not here to make new friends. Some of you do not ask for them to come in and try your class. You have a half an hour conversation with someone and you hang up the phone and go, what just happened? What just happened? They're not coming in. Why did I waste? And then you start beating yourself up, right? Ask for the trial class. Have a conversation. Find out about them. They don't care about you. We started in 1922 with Edith and no, sorry, that's the name that if your name's Edith, I still love it, but it is a name from that era. And so they don't care. What do they care about? What are you going to do for their child? Why you? Why now? That's it. Why you? Why now? Because they're shopping around. They've got 5 minutes in Starbucks waiting for their double skim, whatever, vanilla shot espresso. And they're like on Google looking at the dance studios on the Facebook pages, calling, texting, a whole bunch of studios because they want the best for their child. Why you? Why now? That's the only thing you need to do. What you really need to do is show an interest in their child. People like, I tell them about this and we do this and we have this great facility and the AC is amazing. We've got these sprung floors. You won't believe the mirrors. They don't care. What are you going to do for my child? That's the conversation you need to have. And as part of that, you say, hey, by the way, you have the perfect class for Susie. We have a class on Tuesday or Wednesday. They're both at 4 p.m. Which one would work best for you? We can get her in and try it out. Always give 2 options so they can't say, I can't make that. Always give 2 options and book them in for a trial. Hey, first class is on us. If you do that, if it's a paid trial, totally cool as well. Come in and let's test it out. It's as easy as that. As easy as that. My philosophy is if you don't enroll them into your vision and what you can do for their child, is that you are robbing them of the experience. It's not selling, guys. You're not selling a car. You're selling something that can change someone's life. And I think enough of you know it, but do you really know it? Do you really, really know that that's what you're doing? Because I think if you did, you'd be getting people into those trials every second of the day. Because every time that someone enrolls in your studio as a trial, you have the opportunity to change their life. From 3 to 18. Think about how much transformation can happen in that time to a child. But because you don't ask them to come in for a class, they lose that opportunity. Isn't that impactful, realizing that? That that's the difference that you can make. So, take the inquiry, book in the class. This is also very important, is you need to send them a confirmation. Don't you say, sure, see you next week on Tuesday, 3 p.m, bye. Do you know where we are? Yeah, bye. You need to follow up with them. And in that follow-up email, you need to restate again, why you? Why now? Not just, hey, great to talk, template email. Hi, great to talk. Fill in name, fill in date, fill in class, send. Have your template email, but put something at the beginning of that email that relates to the conversation. So great to talk about little Susie, how she's been dancing around the living room. for the last 3 years. We can't wait to see you next week. That little bit personalizes it and makes your customer feel like they're not a number, because they're not. They're people. And we need to treat people like people.
We hope you enjoyed this week's enrollment special. Don't forget to download your free 11-step enrollment checklist at dsoa.com/checklist-2020 today.